Before you turn in your moon journal, I want to make sure that I clarify a few questions that you might have on the third page, the moon journal question sheet. Also, just kind of walk through some other expectations before you get this turned in too. Now, the due date on the third page, I changed these to give you a little bit more time. So make sure to note that for my Monday, Tuesday group, I'm moving this to Tuesday. So just the following day. My Thursday, Friday groups, it says Friday, October 2nd. Well, that date's passed already. We're going to bump that to Thursday of this week when you return. My distance learners, since Wednesday is our pickup and drop off day, I'll trade you some items. So for you, it's going to be due Wednesday of this week. If you have not done your observations, like, yep, oops, forgot about that, I'll let you do observations this week. I'll accept this as late as next Wednesday. Okay, or for my Thursday, Friday groups, next Thursday. That's it. If this isn't turned in, not accepting it by that point. Now, if it's not done, you're doing observations in the next week, you can't get a 4. Okay. If you crush it, the 3 is the best you can get. The due date is this week. This is when I want it. Okay, so note those dates. Let's talk about these questions next. Number 1 says, describe how the appearance of the moon changed. Thinking, what does that exactly mean? What's he asking? So let's say if I am, clear this. This is my moon. My pen's working a little slow here. Okay, and one of my initial observations kind of looked like this. Forgive my crummy looking moon there. And I noticed a crescent shape. It didn't look like this each night as you continued your observations. So describe that change. What happened based off of what side was lit up, illuminated, what was not. You can also talk about the colors that you observed too. And that is number 1. As we go to number 2. It says, describe how the position of the moon changed. So when looking at your horizon drawing, and note when I've given directions on this, I've never really showed you a complete drawing because I don't want you to just draw what someone else had because theirs may not have been right. And I don't want you, if you haven't finished this, just to copy this down. So you should have drawn at least 4 moons, 4 different moons on here. How'd the position change from one night to the next? You should have noticed a specific path that the moon took. Describe that, because it did not, if you went out at the same time, it should not have stayed in the same location. Okay. In those moons you drew, you should also have had them illustrated here on this page, at least 4. If you did up to 8, fantastic. You'll be getting a good score if you did all your observations appropriately and correctly. Yeah, that was 2. Number 3. This one's kind of tricky. Was the moon setting earlier, later, or at the same time from one night to the next? Now, if you want to know specifically what the set times were, so that's when the moon goes below the horizon and you can no longer see it, you can look up when the times the moon sets. Just look up moon set time. And what you'll end up finding is websites that just tell you when the moon sets. And so from our observation dates from September 18th through October 1st, what time was the moon setting? Okay, and you'll be able to determine, all right, was it earlier each night or was it later each night or did it set at the same exact time? Okay. And I'm thinking you'll probably be assuming, well, I don't think it sets at the same time. Because if it's set at the same time, the moon really wouldn't be changing locations in this drawing that you made. Okay. So look up the set times, or maybe if you're sharp enough, you'll be able to notice just based off of where the moon is from night to night, is it going to set earlier or later? Hey, 4, from your observations, estimate the time it would take for the moon to return to the same position in the sky as it was on the night you started keeping this journal. So the way to think about this one, these next few, I'm not going to be grading these super hard, but I want you to give a thoughtful response. Okay, there is a right answer, but I'm not going to nail you if you get it wrong. Look down at your drawing and the span of time that it took for you to get from your first moon all the way to your second. And think about how much distance did that moon cover? And if the moon were to travel all the way around the Earth to get to that same spot that you started and at the same time, about how long do you think that would take? So you might want to do some research on how long it takes the moon to cycle once around the Earth. Okay, 5. Why does the moon change position in the sky? Why does it? Again, there's a right answer to it, and it's not as difficult as an answer as you think it might be. Why does it change positions? What's the moon doing? Okay, so those are your 5 questions here. Make sure before this is turned in, not only those up there are done, but that you have your location site down, the times you observed, you have the dates, the weather, the estimated color. You should have already had all this in, and you have the estimated moon shape that you saw. I'm really hoping I see a lot of people that did 6, because that's the amount that you needed to get a 4 on it. So if you happen to do 6 moons up here, you should also have 6 moons here on your horizon drawing. If you have 6 up here, but like 2 drawn here, like Mr. Olenchek, I got 6 up there, I get a 4. No, you don't. You have to have the same amount on here as well. And you're thinking, okay, how else do I get a 4? What if my drawing is totally wrong, but I have 6 moons on here somewhere? They have to be following the correct path that the moon takes. Okay, you can't have just 6 moons drawn randomly on here. They got to be following the right path, and they have to look the correct phase. Okay, so if you drew 6 waxing crescents, okay, that was the phase you should have seen in the first couple nights of the observation. That's not right. Okay, the moon changes appearance, okay, which you answered on number 1 on the 3rd page. So make sure too on here for your moons. So let's say you drew 4 moons. You got to make sure you have the date of that observation and you have the time of that observation written next to that moon. Do that for every single moon that you drew. Okay. Also, give me some color on your horizon drawing. The homes, the trees, the fields, the hills. I want to get a better idea of what you were looking at. If it just kind of scribbled quickly in pencil, I can't get an idea of what your horizon looked like. So the drawing, give me color. Your moons should be on here as well. And you'll be set, ready to go. Let me know if you have questions. I expect those to be turned in this week. Thanks.